Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
And we have something new to tell our listeners about. Yay!
New news, new business, new stuff.
New stuff.
New stuff. New stuff. What is our new stuff, Jill?
We now are giving our listeners the opportunity and the capability of calling us.
Yes, you can call us now. You can call into our voicemail box, and that number is 404-594-2247. So you can call in anytime during the show that, when you're listening to us. Please don't cuss me out.
Yes. Do it.
But if you call in, and then we will get to it during our next episode, because this isn't a live show for the listeners, right, Jill? Yeah.
Yes.
So we really, as we've been asking all of our listeners to contact us, some of you do, many of you don't.
That's right. And yet I hear that sometimes you're talking to us, but we can't hear you. So
That's
now
right.
we want to hear you.
We want to hear you. So please call into that number. What is that number again, Jill?
404-594-2247.
That is correct. So everybody lock that number into your cell phone. So when you're driving and listening to our show and you want to comment, and try to remember to say what episode it is so we can
so that we'll understand
what's going on. And also they should also know that we may use their recording on the show.
Yes.
So
yes.
Don't.
So if you're, in the witness protection program, don't give us your real name or, anything like that.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I'm looking
But do
forward.
give us a name so that we can address you.
So there's no reason anymore. Everyone almost always has their cell phone on them. Right, Jill?
Yes.
So there's no reason for them not to comment.
That's
Whether
right.
it's good or bad, we want to hear it.
That's right.
All.
That's right.
Yeah, because and I love to hear when our listeners say that I'm right.
Oh, but
we're gonna have
say that I'm right.
Gonna have a lot of those calls that, hey, Tony is right, and they'll tell us why. Well, actually, tell you why I'm right, Jill.
I don't get your hopes up, because they mostly agree with me.
Yeah, but one more time, that number is 404-594-2247.
Okay.
So we should get to
our first segment.
Yeah.
But first, let's tell everybody what the episode is about.
Yeah, tell us, Jill.
So the episode is, and I think this is a great topic. Great topic. When your partner tells too much. It's part of a segment that we call Stand by Your Stance. Well, Tony.
Yes.
In other
Jill.
words, you talk too much.
I'm a podcaster. I'm supposed to talk much.
Well, you tell too much.
I tell too much?
Yes. You have a big mouth.
That is a misconception
of
many about me.
Really?
That I tell too much. Don't tell Tony anything, because he'll tell it all.
That's right.
That's right. But
that's right. I'm glad you recognize.
That is a misconception.
How so?
Well, I really do choose what I'm going to tell.
Oh, so you purposely tell too much. Is that what you're saying? You do it on purpose.
I deem it as I'm not telling too much. When I tell certain stories and things that have happened, it's usually for a specific reason. One, it just may need to be told. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It needs to be told. It's simple. Hey, this needs to. I'm like
give
the.
me an example.
I'm like
what needed to be told.
I'm like the. It needs to be told czar. So I make these decisions on
So
what
you've gone from
needs to
being a
be.
flunky to a czar?
Yes, when it comes to what
Mm.
needs to be told. So
Give an
yes,
example.
an example. Well, I very rarely tell anything, so it's hard for me to
Huh?
figure this out.
Did you just say you rarely tell anything?
Yes, it's a rarity that I do. So it's hard for me to come up with one. It is such a rarity that I do such things. So, that's why I'm the czar. That's I decide what gets told and not.
But sometimes people don't want they confide in you and they don't want you
Well,
to tell until it's a
like
done deal. That
well,
happens between us all the time. I'll tell you what I'm working on and then you'll tell other people what I'm working on and I don't want you to tell anybody yet.
oh, that was a mistake. That doesn't count. That was a
How
mistake.
why not?
I didn't know it was a secret. And then I'm so proud of you, the things you get involved with. So that was I didn't know it was a secret.
So when people have a conversation with you, me included,
Yeah.
when we have a conversation with you, when anyone has a conversation with you, they need to, if they don't want you to tell anyone else, they need to tell you. You won't figure that out on your own that they're
Yeah,
confiding in you.
you better tell me, hey, don't
Then you've just proven my point. You
don't
tell
tell
too much. If I have to tell
no.
you something, if I'm
No, there's
confiding
certain
in
things
you,
I don't tell. I don't tell about I don't talk about a date we had early in our relationship
you just
where
did.
I just said a date. I didn't it was a date that
You're getting ready to
I'm not going to
tell.
go into detail, but
You're getting ready to
I
tell. You're getting
it
ready to.
was the walk of shame. It was
You just told.
no, I didn't give details, but everybody's had a walk of shame sometime. At least I had a walk
Why
in
was it of
shame
shame?
with the what is a walk of
I
shame?
do know what a walk of
Tell
shame
me what a
is, but you
walk of
should have
shame
walked in
is.
proudly.
What is a walk of shame, Jill?
It's when you spent the night with someone and you go return back to your place in the same clothes
In the morning
in the
or
morning
so. Yeah. So I had a walk
the
of
next
shame
day.
into my own house. This is when we lived separate.
See,
We
you
did.
just told.
I didn't tell.
You just told.
I didn't give details of this walk in shame and how it happened and what. So I'm not going to tell all of that. See, but walk of shame. Everybody's
But
had
the
a walk
very
of
thing that
shame.
you've always said to me that you're not going to tell,
I
you just
did.
told.
No, I didn't because
You just
that
said what.
that walk of shame has many more
I don't
things
like
that
that
I can
phrase.
tell about that walk of shame and how it happened and how that walk of shame came to be.
So
But that
now that we've told
I will
listeners to
not
call
say.
in, they're going to call in like, Tony, tell us.
I will not, but see, I will not tell. See, people think I tell everything, but I don't tell everything. I tell a lot of stuff, but I don't tell everything. Not
Okay, so
everything.
that's one thing that you will not tell. Can you actually? I don't think you can think of other things that you will not tell.
I have a whole lot of things I won't tell. That's why I'll never write a tell all book about my years as a truck driver. You see, I don't tell everything. I don't. I don't tell everything.
Well, almost everything. Nearly everything.
No, the things that really don't matter if it's not going to affect our our marriage, our relationship, or if it's not intentionally uh, that I don't intentionally say something to hurt someone. I don't do that. Um, so they're like little things that don't matter. Like um, I don't know. I hardly ever tell anything, so it's hard for me to remember
That is
anything
so not
that
true.
I have not.
That is so not true. You're
Well,
very.
give me an example. You say I tell everything.
I did
Tell
give
the
an
listeners.
example.
No, I gave that example.
No, I gave an example and you said, "Oh, that was a mistake." And then
You didn't
I
give an
made the
example,
point.
though. What was the example?
Something I was working on that you weren't supposed to tell people.
Oh, that's not a good enough example. Give another example. Come on. Come on. Come on.
There have been times where you've told people, that I was leaving one job, going for another, and I didn't want you to tell that yet.
That's different. That's
That
different.
Is not, how is it?
That's different.
See,
that's different.
That's like a default setting for you. When I
different.
bring up something that you told that you weren't supposed to tell,
that's different.
The first thing you say is that's different. How is this one different?
I have the same reason as I did the first time. I was proud of you that you are leaving an awful job and you were going to a better one. I was happy for you, and so I wanted to let people know.
So again, I and anyone who has a conversation,
but it didn't.
Listen, listeners, if you ever have a conversation with Tony and you don't want people to know what you've said to him or he said to you, you have to tell him, don't tell anybody.
Yes,
but that, by definition, that means you tell too much.
Sometimes you have to tell somebody. I mean, no, I take that back. Sometimes you have to tell a person, don't say anything. But then sometimes you don't have to say anything. You don't have to tell them don't. Like if, for instance, a friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, remember that bank that got robbed 20 years ago? And they never figured out who did it." Say, yeah. I'll say, yeah. And if they say,
did this really happen?
If they say they're the one that did it,
yes,
I won't tell. I won't tell. They don't have to tell me. They don't have to tell me, don't tell. I won't tell.
Because you think there would be repercussions if you told at that point.
Yeah, there would be. Yes, 20 years later.
So why not tell the story that you started off by saying that you will never tell? What's the repercussion of telling that story?
You're the repercussion. You told me woman. Don't tell. You told
well,
me
that was before we got married. Now we're married.
Oh, no. I was going to tell that story. And you said, don't tell. I said, but we're married now. We've been married for
because you don't tell the story correctly. If you're going to tell somebody else's business, get the story right.
It's not somebody else's business. It's my business because I was a part of it.
It's our business. But you don't tell the story correctly. Even when you're reminiscing about it with me, your recollection of it is far different than mine.
You know why?
Because I'm right.
No, because we are.
I'm right.
No, because we are writers.
So you're changing the narrative? Just because you can?
That's what writers do.
Are you going to write about this? You said you want about truck driving or your truck driving
adventures.
But
I can.
Are you ever going to put that in a story?
But I can tell you this. See, things I'm going to tell. See, now this is a thing I maybe shouldn't tell about myself. Okay, so I do say I will never write a story about my truck driving days.
Right.
I will never do that.
Right.
But
and careful, Sam.
But what
never.
I do.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, such a kid.
I said do.
Such a kid.
But what I do is when I write, well, yes, with if I write a short story, there may be a segment of that short story that has an element of something that I actually did.
Sure.
But I write it.
Fiction should have an element of truth.
That's right. So if people, if I ever get published, people can know.
You are a writer.
So our listeners,
I like that you finally admit
our listeners will know if they read any of my work, if there's some story, some crazy story within that story, a scene, it may have really happened to me.
Okay.
So see, I'm telling something. I'm giving the people something. So
So
it's
if
just
they
a
ask you,
clue.
if you're at a reading and you read from a story where it had some element of truth, and let's say that someone in the audience says, "Which part of your story was true?" Are you going to tell then?
Deny, deny, deny.
That will be so. So I'm hearing two things now. You said you would write a story with an element of truth, as you should.
That's right.
But when asked about it, you will deny that any element of that story is true?
Exactly.
What sense does that make?
Makes sense to me.
So your answer would
See,
be
I
I
don't tell.
deny.
I don't
So you
tell.
would lie?
No, I would say no, no. It's purely fiction. It's purely fiction.
That's a lie.
It's pure. It is fiction.
That's a lie. It's not purely.
No,
You just said there's
it's
an element of
fiction.
truth in it.
Yes, it's based on something.
And when
Like
someone
for
asks
instance,
what is it based
a
on?
few weeks ago, I told a situation how I met this woman that wanted me to rob change
Slot
machines
machines.
throughout. No, not slot machines. Change
Okay, change
machines
machines, yes.
throughout the country.
Right.
Okay.
That was true.
Yes, that was true. But there is so much more to that story that I didn't tell. You see? So that was just a snippet. So I don't tell everything. That's what I'm trying to show you. I don't tell everything.
Well, it seems to me that you do when it comes to me. You tell my stories.
No, I don't.
You tell my news.
No, I don't.
I just gave 2 examples in this episode.
I don't.
And both times you said it was a mistake.
I don't tell people about health issues you may be having. I don't.
Actually,
tell.
you do.
No. It's only if you have made it public. But many other things I don't tell. When it comes to your health, I don't tell. I don't tell when it comes to specifically our marriage and what goes on within. Even though we have a podcast that we talk about our marriage, there are some things in the podcast I will not discuss on a podcast if it's with our marriage.
And that's a good point for our listeners to know as well. If you're in a relationship, there should be things in your relationship that should remain between the two of you.
Exactly.
Because I remember a long time ago, well, when I was married the first time, when I was my most troubled being in that relationship, I told my friends. And my friends are still my friends. Like of course they're going to, take up, care, they care about me. So of course, they're want to feel like they're protecting me. So, they started looking at him with the side eye and, and they were vested in it. So our troubles, and not just because of me, like he did it too, were made public.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't a good feeling because I felt, like I felt protected. I felt I learned who my friends were. But on the other hand, I shouldn't have made certain things public. I admit that now.
Yeah.
So after that, another really good friend of mine, we were both single at the same time. And then when she got married, the first thing she said was, well, we can't have the conversations like we used to where we told each other everything. And for a split second, I was like, but we're friends. But then I remembered, you're totally right. You are totally right.
Exactly
the things that happen in your marriage should, stay between the two of you.
Yes, you work it out. So, I mean, unless it becomes, a life and death kind of thing.
Right,
but
right.
Other than that,
of
issues
course, like
within a marriage,
choose together what you're going to share.
Yes,
with others.
Yes,
and so
you don't share
I
it with family members,
right,
close friends,
right? Because the bottom line is a relationship. When you're in a committed relationship, it is between the two of you. So, now you might gain other people in your relationship. Like you've gained 3 wives besides me, because my sisters are your wives too. You had to look out for them. But I think it is something that we should say, that as much as we share with other people, and then as you share with other people, get it, that you share, that you tell
I don't understand.
other people.
I do not understand what you are saying.
Well, between the two of us, which one of us tells too much?
You.
You can't say that. Back it up. You can't say it. That is not a fact.
You tell too much.
It's fiction again. He's telling fiction again, listeners.
So
no, I don't. I don't.
No. You usually don't, unless there's. You may tell things in public only to try to push me in the right direction.
Like when you say that you're not a writer in public.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And so I will say, hey, he thinks he's not a writer. But you realize this episode you admitted you're a writer. You realize that, right?
I'm a writer that does not write.
Well, part of the writing process isn't just physically writing. Part of the writing process is thinking about it, talking about it.
I'm not even thinking about writing.
You are.
I'm still on chapter 7.
You're still thinking.
I've been on chapter 7 for years. I haven't worked on it at all.
You've been writing poetry, though.
Not like I used to.
No, not like you used to. Whereas, on the other hand, since May, I've been far more prolific than I have in years.
And that's great, because you're going to see. Here's the thing I tell people, Jill is going to be famous.
That's not fact.
Doesn't matter. I'm still telling it. Why? And you could
mean
say
wishing it. That's one of your wishes.
No, I'm actually saying it. Jill's going to be famous. Yeah, that's right.
No, I don't plan to be famous. I'm not trying to be famous.
Well, sorry. Sorry, I have spoken.
And when you say that to people, they give you this crazy look, like, poor dude.
Oh, hey,
they look at you crazy.
Look, listeners, look, you can call in. You can call in now. And listeners, there are many listeners that probably feel the same way I do about you, and that you're going to be famous. So listeners, please chime in, pick up those phones, chime in, and tell Jill how you agree with me that you're going to be famous.
And what will I be famous for?
You're writing.
I've been writing my whole life, and I'm not anywhere close. I'm not even. I've been writing my whole life. No one knows me for that.
You've been writing as a journalist, and that was not your passion. So now you're writing your passion. So you'll be famous for it.
We'll see.
You will.
We'll see. I'm not trying to be famous. I want my voice heard, of course, still, which is the whole thing that drew me to journalism. But I'm not trying to be famous. That's why I was behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. But you will be known for your writing. So, all right. I told it. I said it. That's right. I don't have a problem with it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And listeners are going to say, yeah, we know that about you. She is going to be famous.
Okay. Well, let's get to our second segment that we call
Give It a Rest and a Resolution.
Do you have a resolution, conclusion? Do you tell too much? Your conclusion is that you don't?
No, I don't.
I don't understand why that's your conclusion.
It is my conclusion. I don't tell too much.
So you believe that with all the people who tell you that you tell too much, like your whole family has said that to your face.
But see, they don't know what I don't tell. That goes to show you. I don't tell everything.
Do you tell too much then? Maybe everything is not the right word.
No, because no one ever gets hurt. by what I tell. Never. Never. It may create some action.
But that's a whole different.
It may create some act. No, people can tell things that will hurt someone else.
But that's a whole different conversation.
That's not a different conversation.
I never accused you of hurting me by what you've told other people. But I am saying that you tell too much.
Nah. I tell just enough.
Well, clearly, my conclusion is that you tell too much.
Well,
and
my
that you
stance
don't, you
is
don't,
the same.
You don't hurt me with it, you or anything. But the fact that you tell things that you're not supposed to means that you tell too much.
Nope. Sorry.
Nope.
You
can't disagree with me.
I can disagree with you. This is I'm right. This is what I'm supposed to do, is disagree with you.
But if my perception is that you tell too much, then you tell too much.
And my perception is that I don't tell too much, so I don't tell too much.
Well, that's the end of that segment.
Listeners will let you know.
Well, let's get to our reminder.
So, what do you think?
What do you think? Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
So what's that phone number again?
That number, listeners, is 404-594-2247.
So again, we want you to call and tell us what you're saying to us as you listen to us.
Yes.
Are you screaming at Tony, telling him you tell too much? Are you saying, or maybe you're answering his question of, no, Jill is not going to be famous. She's good at what she does, but she's not going to be famous.
I would like the listeners to tell me I have a wonderful voice. That's what I want to hear.
You have a wonderful voice, sweetheart.
From the listeners, Jill.
Oh, it doesn't count when I say it?
Whenever I talk to you, you go to sleep.
That isn't. Well, you do have a nice, soothing voice.
You just out.
And at the right time, it does put me to sleep. I do admit that.
Oh, okay. All righty.
Okay. Well, bottom line is, call us at any point during any of our episodes.
Yes.
404.
Keep saying it. You forgot our number?
Yes.
404
594
2247. Very good.
Okay, let's get to our last segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Do you have any tips?
Yes, I do.
Go for it.
Well, I think that people should tell a little more than they're used to telling.
What?
As long as it doesn't hurt anyone, it can create a positive thing. Because quite often we don't say enough of what we're truly thinking. So tell some more. Say some more. It'll create a better life for you.
That is not good advice.
That is great advice.
That's not good advice.
That is great advice.
That's horrible advice.
That's great advice.
Well, my advice is be aware that when you're in a relationship with anybody, whether it's a friend or a mate, and they share information with you that they wouldn't other people, then keep their trust, maintain the trust, and don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Don't tell more than you should.
Sometimes different things, not, personal things about a relationship, but,
Like what? What the heck are you talking about?
Know, you see a couple at a wedding and you say, hey, when
we've already had a whole episode
married?
about that. No.
Wedding's perfect place.
No, it's not. It's
Either
a horrible
they're going to
place.
stay together or break up.
Horrible advice.
Great
Do not
advice.
listen to Tony.
I have probably changed their lives by asking those questions.
Do not listen to Tony, listeners. So, you've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music and Nick Tinky for the art. And listeners, don't forget, you can call us.
That's right.
So, are you going to say bye?
No, I'm going to say 404-594-2247.
Now are you going to say bye?
Now I can say bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.